Hey everyone, I'm Nito King, this is Prince of Persia Warrior Within, and tonight I've got a very special guest with me.
Hello! I am Gimbalok. None of you know me.
So this time you're going to give your name right off the bat. You're
I
not even
am.
going to pretend to keep people in suspense.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
People know who I am anyway.
It's this game, it's this video, my sword is broken and now I got a bunch of guys to fight.
Oh yes, there's a lot of fighting involved in this part, for sure.
And the fights take forever.
But also a very brown part.
Yeah, I guess the visual drabness of the whole thing is kind of not fun.
Yeah, it's not very fun, but hey, we did brown before brown was cool.
Has brown ever been cool? I mean,
Sure.
UPS would have us believe that, but
Well, I could only imagine so. It's pretty popular nowadays.
I guess a lot of games are using it, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you guys really started a trend here. Fights that take forever, everything being the same color.
Yes, like we did all of this on purpose. Oh, this
Look,
game.
Final Fantasy 13 in a nutshell, right?
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Well, I gotta diss something, and it's kind of hard to diss a game when one of the people who helped make it is in the call with
I
you.
completely disagree. I'd be totally willing of dissing this game were it not for the fact that I'm probably going to deal more with hate about saying bad stuff about this game than anybody else will. But yeah, I do have my own problems with this game. They're pretty obvious. Most of us who worked on this game know it's pretty obvious, and if you guys think it's pretty obvious, there's no point in hiding it. There's a lot of bugs.
Some things that I would say are not so much bugs as elements of bad design. I think I'm going to get to that in a couple videos' time, the first really, really bad design decision.
There are definitely bad design decisions. Many of them were not necessarily decisions so much as, you know, we have to. There are a lot of those. In fact, you've complained about a whole bunch of them. It's pretty obvious to most people that a lot of the corridors and, how do you call it again? The trap-filled
Trap-filled
corridors?
corridors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's all loading stuff because the loading was terrible on PS2. All of those were not designed.
Yeah, well, I know that now.
All of those were not designed that way, you know? They started off pretty normal and then they just kept expanding because the big rooms that were attached to the trap-filled corridors were all too big for the PS2's memory.
Oh, yeah, it's like the big room where I put the medallion into the little hole at the end of the corridor and suddenly my life increases.
Well, that's not that's not fair though. I mean, those are meant to be trap-filled corridors. They're, you know, how can you say? They're supposed to be challenges, right?
Well, yes.
So that's not usually a memory issue. It was like, well, those were the trap-filled corridors before the trap-filled corridors were everywhere. Those actually started as the original corridors.
Yeah, whereas in Sands of Time, they were just everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
It's like, hey, let's make a bunch of traps that are completely ineffective against the people that we're trying to stop, and yet the one guy who can save us all can't get through.
Yeah, but I think they put in a story reason for that stuff, right? I don't remember anymore. It's been so long.
I think it was more of a, hey, let's turn on these traps and see if we can stop all the sand creatures. Oops, nope.
Right, exactly.
Prince, you're not authorized to go down this trap-filled corridor.
Let's not go there.
Well, I want to make it clear that this is certainly far from the worst game in existence.
Well, it's certainly not Outer M.
Yeah, it really, I think, only suffers for being compared to Sands of Time,
Yeah.
in which every element just came together so perfectly, except maybe for some of the fighting decisions.
Well,
And then you've got this, which kind of backs away from all the fun parts.
yeah. Well, they were trying something different, right? You can't really fault anybody for that.
No, certainly not. It's just that at some point, somebody has to look at a game when it's finished and say, this was not a good idea.
Well, I think that actually happened, and that's why Two Thrones is not as dark, I guess? I don't know. There was plenty of difference that I was not really involved in when it came to differences. And, oh yeah, new S&M mask girl.
Yeah, is she new, or is she the same type that have been fighting all along?
I'm pretty sure that she's a new type. Though, well, I don't know. It might just be a palette swap, like I said earlier. But she's definitely has a different skin. It's the first time that we see that one.
Oh, okay. Because it seemed to me like it would be kind of weird to be introducing new enemies at a time when I've got a weaker weapon.
Has any of these ninja girl, or I don't remember her name anymore, but has any of them actually appeared in the present up until now?
Now that you mention it, I can't remember them doing that.
Me neither. It might have something to do with
wait a sec, yeah, in the garden.
Oh, well...
Pretty sure in the garden, after I went to the present and all the plants are everywhere, there was that big fight where there were 4 of them.
Oh, right,
including
yeah.
a couple of invisible ones.
Well, then I have absolutely no explanation as to why they changed the skin for this part. Like the sewer version.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that they're tougher. You know, like, I think you've said at some point they were trying to go for tone here and show that this really is pretty much his darkest moment.
Yeah. There's no reason to change them, change the skin though for that. It's just that it seems so arbitrary. There's a whole bunch of arbitrary things in there that make sense on paper, but you know, in the end of the day, you're like, well, okay, new chick, what's her deal? Never explained.
Yeah, you know, most of the design decisions that I don't like, I can't really say they never should have been done that way.
Yeah.
It's really the sort of thing you're only going to see in retrospect.
The silent beams.
Yeah, there's a floor down there. They're hitting it at some point. I think I'm going to be hitting it in a bit.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't a bug in the PS2 version, man. It's just it seems too ridiculous. We would have spotted that. All the sound seems bad in this port, actually.
Yeah, makes sense. I've been wondering all along, is that a difference between the PS2 and the PS3?
It probably is. To be honest, I'm pretty sure that I did mention this in the thread. This version I didn't even know existed until you actually started an LP of it, and I think that holds true for many of us who worked on the original. This really came out of nowhere. I'm not even sure who made the port.
Was that a cracked wall behind me?
Was it?
I think it was. I saw what looked like a door full of stones was boarded up.
Huh. I don't remember.
I've never noticed that before until this viewing of the video. And I can't imagine how I would get to it once I've got the means to break it down.
Huh. I don't know. Swords upside down.
The things you notice.
I notice all of them, man. It pisses me off every time I see one. See those tentacles, how they're all wavy?
Mm-hmm.
Not on purpose. Also, the death scene of the Dahaka, when he kills you, oh, like right there, that's cinematic. The way that they're made, there was no programmer involved. It is in fact a camera that is attached to the Dahaka, following him around, and the cinematic is just waiting to start. Oh, you're already dead there.
Yeah, at this point I was still looking for that secret that I missed in the last video. The only clue that I had to where it was a brief YouTube clip someone had insisted I watch.
Huh.
So, yeah, I was pretty sure I had passed it before, but I still needed to break all the barrels here because I thought it was in a barrel.
The secret's in a barrel?
Well, I only watched the video once.
I see.
I really should have reviewed it. I liked that part, though, where he's got his tentacles around me and just never manages to get a grip.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
It's nice. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, that particular scene where he kills you, the fact that the camera is attached to him is...
Yeah, I decided to
investigate.
wait until he was gone and then break all the barrels, but I found this. I thought this was interesting. The sword is sitting right there where I left it, and I can't pick it up because it's not actually meant to be there.
It's soiled now.
Yeah, I figured they just had to reload that area after I came in here.
Yep. most of the scripted events are supposed to have flags that tell them, like, well, the sword's not there anymore, and apparently we forgot that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that one's in the original as well.
Yeah, and another detail you might remember better than me from the original, I'm pretty sure that most of these button puzzles in the original, it was, you'd hit both buttons on one side, and then you'd run across the room and hit both buttons on the other. It seemed to me like, at least the earlier ones worked that way, and in this game, they're pretty much all this keep running back and forth movement.
Yeah, well, I think the pattern is usually pretty similar. It's always like a X sort of shape.
Yeah, see, it seemed to me like it was a different pattern in every single one of them in the PS2 version, and you could actually track, they got more complex as they went along.
Well, so long.
And I wondered if maybe they changed that for this version because of a difference in load time between consoles.
Well, considering the shoddiness of the port, I'm guessing they probably didn't.
Yeah, could be. And
hey, new power.
yeah, the second worst power in the game, in my opinion. It's like, it's just like the Breath of Fate, which I've found so little use for, except it's twice as expensive and takes twice as long to charge. So if I'm going to use 2 sand tanks, am I going to knock down all the enemies around me and do a little bit of damage, or am I going to use Ravages of Time? I don't see how it's even a choice.
Well, the option's there if you don't want to be efficient, I guess.
Yeah, I'll probably get around to using it at some point. Maybe once I've got more sand tanks available.
Yeah, that
It
makes
seems
sense.
like such a waste right now.
It actually is. So,
I'm good at traps.
yeah. I made the animations for those traps.
Oh,
In
cool.
my spare time.
You had spare time?
Well, sometimes, if there were no cinematics to be put in or other things, it was like, well, yeah, let's make the traps. So anyway, to go back on what I was saying about the Dahaka, that scene that kills you, due to the fact that the camera is actually attached to the Dahaka, that means that if you're unlucky and you get caught while you're next to a wall, expect the camera to be in the wall. There's no collision or anything. It's just like, well, we have no programmers to do this, so figure it out.
Yeah, that's been my experience with most software development.
Yeah, it's just so it looks like crap when it happens, so it's kind of angering. Like, this could have been good. Yeah.
Well, pretty much everything is designed by whoever is the least busy at the moment.
Pretty much.
That's the way my job is right now. It's,
I
oh, you're only 125% tasked on your current project? Why don't you do this one in your overtime?
Yeah, that holds true for, like, most places. Oh, look at the prince's shoulder. Watch this. Oh. Oh, right there. Oh, that was
Yeah, his arm just kind of disappeared into his torso there.
yeah. Oh, that doesn't have. So, new sword.
I guess the sword was just too much for him.
New sword.
It is an amazing sword. This is the one good thing that happens in this video.
So, what's new about it? I don't remember.
This is the one that can break down walls. And it's also a lot stronger than the previous swords that I've had. It tears through these guys like paper.
Oh, this is the wall-breaking sword, you say.
Yep.
So I guess backtracking starts now.
Pretty much. I've basically still got a couple more areas to go through before I actually return to old ground. And then I can start revisiting some of the cracked walls that I've passed. I'm not going to go out of my way for most of them during the main LP, but when I'm done, there will be a bonus video roundup where I'll try and make my way back to all of the ones that I know about.
Oh, that's gonna be the best video.
Yep.
The prince is so angry when he does that.
He's just screaming.
Yeah, he used to have a lot more screaming lines, including one where he shouted like, "I am the king of blades," and it was pretty lame. I think they cut it out. Is it still in there? I don't remember. I think they cut it
I
out.
don't think I've heard that one. He does have he does have a number of lines, but
He seems to favor the screaming upset.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that guy died though. I didn't actually stab him.
Maybe he
I
tripped on
started the
himself.
animation, and then I interrupted it to block these other guys, and he just sort of crumbled into sand.
The oddities of a kind of buggy game.
Yep.
Well, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people saw that that was up there. That's where those guys were coming from before. That's why so many of them managed to come out of that little room like a clown car.
Yeah, Monster Closet. Gotta love them.
Yep. Yeah, I do sometimes manage to make the charge attack work, and it kills these guys in one hit.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Makes you wonder, though, why they have so much meat inside them while they're made of sand.
I wasn't sure whether they were made of sand or whether it was just kind of...
Pretty sure they're supposed to be made of sand. For some reason, they were like, well, let's put meat in there. It's going to be more badass.
I kind of thought they were just corpses that have been reanimated or something.
Hey, that was your first wall busting.
Yep.
Looks like crap, doesn't it?
I never really paid much attention.
None is deserved.
Then again, when it comes to particularly graphical design, I always say, if I can't do any better, why should I criticize?
Well, you know, you got movie critics that don't make any movies. Just because you don't make games doesn't mean that you can't spot the problems. That's the way I see
Well, I do make games, that's why I don't criticize them.
it. I see.
And now we get to fight these guys. I hate them.
Yeah, they block a lot.
Yeah, they block almost everything. There are a couple of moves that I don't think they can block. And they take so many hits. I've got this new, more powerful sword, and all of a sudden you're shoving at me these guys that take as many hits as anything I've fought so far.
The prince is so alive. Yeah, they're very tough. I don't know, I don't like the idea of making enemies tougher by just making them block everything is not really valid game design, but, you know, whatever.
It's always worked for the Mortal Kombat series.
It definitely has. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good game.
Well, I think I'm just terrible at Mortal Kombat.
Really.
Of course, I'm terrible at any kind of combat, as you can see.
Come on, use the posts. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, I should have thought of that. There's so many things that, as I'm watching the videos, I go, you know, this strategy would work so well. And I'm pretty sure that's why they put posts in every room these guys ever appear in.
Yeah, I think that they're made to be chopped by, like, post moves. I guess so. I mean, they've all been done like that. They've all been done like that.
Well, I scored one hit.
That guy just teleported.
I think that's just one of those cases of too many objects being in the same place at the same time.
Probably is.
Yeah, I'd love to say I figured I'd show you his full combo at least once, but no, that's just... I didn't even know what it did. Never let these guys attack you.
They're just blocking everything.
And that's why, when you have the most powerful sword you regularly get in the game, the fights are still tedious and take forever.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they give you a pretty powerful sword right now, and as soon as you get it, you're already fighting very hard people that make it almost moot.
I could kind of see if they had put these guys way at the beginning of the game.
Really?
You know, say, Spider Sword, maybe.
Ugh.
Because it would be obvious that you're not supposed to kill them. And that would show you can run away from the fights in this one. Because Sands of Time, as far as I remember, you always had to kill every enemy.
Well, that's true.
And this game allows you to escape the fights. Just that sometimes you don't have the opportunity to do it.
Huh. Crate puzzle is done.
Yeah, there are a lot of games that do that kind of thing. You know, Skies of Arcadia, there were some early fights you're supposed to run away from.
Well, you know, that's how to properly design a game. Properness has no place in this. Oh, I'm being rough with it, but that's because I'm allowed to.
Yeah, I don't want to spend all the time busting on it. I mean, they give you moves like this that work on everything.
Yeah. You know, it's stuff like this. Like, you're choking the guy, and then you're like, oh, this is taking too long. Just chop him open, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Flying the wrong direction. Never mind that. I'm just going to bitch about this all along of the video, because it makes me angry.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's better than just talking about what's going on. Like, look, I'm dodging more traps.
Yeah.
And I think in the solo commentary video, I actually said, this is kind of interesting because at least now they're bringing in some of those final elements from the first game. You got those horizontally moving blades.
Oh. Wow, I remember those being more impressive when you busted them open. I guess I'm wrong.
Again, it might be just changes in this version. Like,
yeah, that's
because
possible.
everything else is so much more impressive, the animations that weren't updated kind of look bad.
I used to really like this room.
Yeah, I just wonder why they can't put spikes like that in the rooms of the tough guys.
I don't know.
Or, death pits that I can throw them into. Everything in this room says, you fight tough enemies here, and you can take care of them easily. And
Yeah.
no, it's just
They put weenies in there.
those guys.
That's kind of sad.
I don't even know if I could make that if I rolled. I probably could.
Yeah. Use sand.
I got enough sand now. Yeah, every time I say, well, I've got enough sand, I'll just go ahead and use some, and then
You promptly regret it.
3 rewinds later, oh, I don't know why I did that. If I can get a start on those guys while I'm still slowed down, that's always helpful. Look, I managed to kill 2 of them in 1 Ravages of Time.
I like the Ravage of Time.
Yeah, it's my favorite power.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. It's completely ridiculous.
I think I just didn't use it when I played the game because, I didn't want to use 2 sand tanks at once, but
Understandable.
it was the great equalizer in the first game, and it used up all of your sand tanks.
Oh, did it?
This game, it's only 2. Well, it used up all your power tanks,
Oh, alright.
and the rewind tanks were a separate thing that was only for rewinding.
Really? I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, the power tanks just took a while to fill up because you had to have all your rewind tanks full, and then each sand pickup you got was only half a power tank.
Why didn't we keep it that way?
I don't know, yeah, 6 sand tanks seems a lot more limiting, especially since you've got so many more useful moves you can do with them.
Yeah. Well, that was dumb. Oh, wait.
Loading screen.
Yeah. Nice face in the wall.
Yeah, and that'll be the end of the video.
Well, that was quick.
Not really, it was 22 minutes.
Well, it felt shorter to me, damn it.